Johnny, Eddie Hearn said to me yesterday that he doesn't think that Wilder's going to be ready this year to fight Fury. I've asked him why he thinks that. He just says it's a feeling he gets that Wilder won't be ready to fight. So he wants to make Fury and White now.
Yeah, and White, you know what? I'm spot on with him. I think that Wilder is keeping himself in the mix. He'd be a fool if he's having this surgery. He'd be a fool to come straight out of that and get back in with Tyson Fury. Does he want to put Tyson Fury's career on hold until he's ready to fight him again? I bet he does, but he's not going to be able to. So what does he do? Does he fight somebody else? And in an ideal world, Wilder would want to fight somebody else than Fury. He'll tell us, no, I want to get straight back in with it again. I don't want Fury to fight anybody else. Fair's fair. What should happen is Tyson Fury should fight Dillian White next. Fair's fair. Because I can't see Wilder fighting White at that level this year. So remember that we're in June now. So he's got to have his operation, get over his operation. Then things have got to get back into play again, where they can sell a fight and the crowds can be there. So realistically, I think Fury, I think Wilder, I think Joshua. I'd be very surprised if you get one fight in this year. So this is not a kind of fight where you put on and there's no crowd. You know, the whole point of it is you want to see these guys in action. So I'd be very surprised if all three of them got one fight this year. Be very boxed against each other. I'd be very surprised.
I mean, Dillian White's fight with Povetkin, out of all like the scheduled heavyweight fights we were meant to see this year, looks more likely to go on. Obviously, dependent on what the situation is in a month's time, maybe. But that looks like Eddie's saying that will end the 4-week period of shows they're doing. But then with White, Joshua, Fury, Wilder, you're right. At best, they're going to fight once this year. But surely that they will fight once this year. It's a bit different for like Joshua and obviously his fight with Pulev and Wilder's fight with Fury, because, yeah, I mean, the thought of no crowd there does have a bigger impact, doesn't it?
So let's do the math then. So we're in June now, June, July. So we're in June now. So basically, we're halfway through the year. We're told sport can begin, but no crowds there. Because we're told we can have a certain amount of people, but not too many people in the same proximity. When you're talking about guys that fill out stadiums of over 50,000 plus, are you going to put them on where there's a really small crowd there? Because that's part of the revenue. I'm quite sure when Wilder fights, when Fury fights, when Joshua fights, it's at least 10 million on the gate. So that's part of the revenue, and it's part of the occasion. Don't get me wrong, I'm quite sure these guys want to fight, because if you're fighting, you want to get out there, get into action. I am very skeptical about these guys actually being in a position where they can legally, a promoter can legally put them on and fight with a crowd there. It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't happen, because these guys are big. They're big time. They're top of the tree. You wouldn't do that. You Dillian White wants to fight. He don't give a shit. He just wants to fight. I'll fight in the car park. I'll fight in your garden. And he's a crowd puller. But these guys are world champions, and so any promoter will want to maximize any outing they have. So I don't know what the legislation is. I don't know what the legal situation is. But you've got to wait till things change. And so far, we're not hearing things that the lockdown is easing off. But in regards to events where there's crowds, I think that'll be the last of the lockdown. And I think you're talking probably September time. And I love the optimism of the promoters to say we're going to do this. I love that, and it's great. But realistically, I'm thinking lockdown, September, October time, when these guys. So they've got to squeeze something in the last 2 or 3 months of the year.
What do you think of Dylan White fighting Francis Ngannou in a two-legged MMA stroke boxing thing?
Do you remember? Did Ali do something like that?
Oh, that Japanese wrestler, didn't
he? Yeah. And after the fight, he said his legs were bruised and kicked his. But I saw some old footage of Dylan doing it, and he could actually fight, man. He did K1. He could actually fight. Now you understand how why he's so rude, so reckless. And I always find that if someone from mixed martial arts comes to boxing, they're going to get an arse. Even the Klitschko's out and got an arse until they were refined, and then we eventually mastered it. And they're the only two that I can see that has done really, really well. I'm sorry. White is one of them. He's doing well now because he's come from mixed martial arts. When boxers go over that side, we're okay on our feet, but when we take it to the ground, get them done. James Toney tried it.
James Toney, I was going to say, against, was it Randy Couture he fought?
Yeah. Julius Francis tried it. So we've tried to go into their world. We usually come off second best. For Dylan, because he's already been in their world, he'll have a better chance than his past predecessors. But the thing is, he's been training as a boxer for the past however many years. So you've got to, when you're fighting, when you're in close combat, you've got to stay on top of it, because if you don't, you all of a sudden realize somebody's taking over you. Because so basically, this guy Dylan's fighting. This is what all he's trained to do. That's all he's trained to do. So if Dylan can keep him on his feet, it's going to always be in his favour. If he hasn't, I'm thinking it's a mad move.
Derek Chisora come out the other day and said that he wants to fight in Bellator before he has his fight with Alexander Usyk. Did you see that?
Nah, I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see it. But listen, he knows what he's doing behind closed doors. And but I just I can't see it, because the thing is, when you're fighting off your back off the floor, it's hard work, man. Trust me. You can't breathe. When a man's laid on your chest and he's pummeling you, you've got to breathe. You've got to. It's not like when you stood up boxing and you can control your pace, control your breathing, control your feet. You control how much energy you burn. When you're on your back, it's your whole body that's involved in this combat, and you're shattered. So it's something you can't just pick up and drop. It's something you've got to be doing it consistently for at least a year or so if you want to be successful, or plus, if you're coming from boxing and you want to be successful at that. And I don't think even a year's long enough. So I think it's guys that are doing it. Look at mixed martial arts and think, wow, you guys are good. You know, you're fit as hell. The gloves, they ain't gloves, they're just bandages. But it's like Conor McGregor. He's great on his feet. Take him down. Is he as great? Is he effective? Oh, that's why he's good on his feet. He's good when he stood in his boxing. He stood up by boxing.
It's mad. Like I said, I think Dana White said to Eddie Hearn the other day, he's not massively keen on these crossover fights. They have a certain amount of appeal, but because I'd want to see it, I'd like to see Dylan White boxing more so, fight Francis Ngannou, and then I'd like to see Dylan White fight Ngannou in the cage. But it is that's a subjective view, isn't it? What people really think about them crossover fights.
Yeah. Like, listen, if you're into combat sports, you're going to watch it anyway. Is it an easy sell? Well, I can remember being in was it Vegas when McGregor boxed Mayweather. It was mad. It was absolutely mad. Viewing figures blew out most. I think it topped viewing figures in regards to boxing events that were put on, and the supporters of McGregor, they could not see how he could lose. So we're in two completely different worlds. So we knew nothing about their game. They knew nothing about our game. And when I can remember being outside the hotel, and these two guys were proper arguing about why Mayweather would win and about how McGregor would win, why he'd win. And they nearly came to blows. And you're like thinking, what? And these people, they really believe it because they're in that world. So you come into their world, you can understand where they're coming from. But it's just an understanding of each other's art.
Mm. Like I said, I don't know how realistic this is to happen. I think it's a good talking point in lockdown. You know, who would win out of these people? But the realistic chances of it happening once boxing resumes and sport resumes is another thing.